Hello, and welcome to the Trans Agenda, a podcast by Trans Clinique. I'm your host, Nico, and I'm a trans man, and my pronouns are he and they. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be right here talking about the Trans Agenda. In this podcast, we'll delve into the unique challenges and experiences of trans folks, highlighting the voices of those who have lived it themselves. We'll explore issues such as navigating medical and legal systems, finding acceptance within family and community, and combating discrimination and violence. Our guests will share their personal stories and expertise, providing valuable insights and perspectives on this often misunderstood aspect of the human experience. Join us as we strive to educate, inform, and advocate for trans rights and visibility. Hello, and welcome to the Trans Agenda. I'm your host, Nico Storman, and I'm here with Ryan Cassata.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
So, Ryan, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do for those who don't know?
Yeah, my name is Ryan Cassata. I use he, him pronouns. I'm about to turn 30, and I came out as trans when I was 14. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I am also a transgender activist and sometimes actor. And yeah, I just do all the things that are fun.
Yeah, you do all the things that are fun. So, I mean, I think for a lot of us, you have a really inspiring story. I feel like, you came up in that YouTube era and you became kind of a spokesperson for our community. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that journey coming up and what that was like for you.
Yeah. Well, I had no intention of doing any of that whatsoever. When I came out as trans, there was not many people out yet, especially not young trans people. There was not really any teenage trans guys that were out. There's a few guys on YouTube, but they were all older than me. And at school there was no one at all. And at school I was running into difficulties with using the bathroom at school and gym class and all of these things. So that's how I started activism, and also because I was getting bullied. So that led me to the LGBT Center on Long Island, which led me to becoming an activist and starting making YouTube videos. All of my early YouTube videos, they were all educational, and a lot of them were activist topics or topics just to educate people that didn't know anything about trans guys.
Yeah, because I remember during that period, I had my best friend, who is how I met you, Liam, and I would be telling people, oh, Liam, I wasn't out yet, Liam is trans, and people didn't know what that was. Mm-hmm. Do you think, my experience was that at that time, because people didn't know what it was, there was an opportunity for education without hate. Mm-hmm. And now that's kind of gone away. So I wonder, what's your perspective on how we introduce transness to people?
Yeah, I do think when I first came out, people had no idea what transgender was. I would say I'm transgender. They had no idea what I was talking about. You had to explain it from a very preschool level, Yeah. And now people do know what trans means, and pretty much I think everyone that's turned on the news in the last year knows what trans and transgender is, or they have some messed up perception of it because of the media. But I do think it's more dangerous now. When I was a teenager, I was driving all over the country by myself, speaking and playing music, and no one was really bothering me. Every once in a while someone would bother me, but I almost feel like now every time I go into a public bathroom, someone gives me an evil stare, even at Disneyland last week, So right. I feel like it is more dangerous, and that is because of the increase in visibility. People are the people that hate trans people are afraid that everyone's gonna be queer and gender non-conforming and be less like them and more like us, and then the world is gonna be ruined or something. It's they're afraid of being the minority.
Yeah.
So they try to just keep pressing us down and down and down. But the thing is they just need to all admit that trans people exist. We've always existed, and we will always exist no matter what.
That's just facts.
Happens. Yeah, it's just facts. So
well,
the sooner they admit that, the sooner they're going to find some peace.
And I feel like you have been a trans activist for longer than most folks, to be honest. And so you kind of have this view, right, of a timeline of how things have gone. So I would like to hear your perspective on where do you think we go next? Like, do you think the pendulum will swing the other way, as people say, or what do you think needs to happen for us to become accepted members of society?
Well, I think right now we are in the middle of the revolution. It's a historic time, meaning we will look back on this time and know that all of us doing work right now are part of history. Like, I'm literally getting chills talking about it because it's true. Like, right now, it is so hard to be trans. It is so hard to be visible, but we're doing it anyway. And just that visibility is activism. Yeah. That visibility is changing the world. And I do think that things are moving forward, but with every step forward, there are steps backwards, because that's how it is with every movement. You know, you pass one law that protects trans people, then they want to pass 10 that go against us. And that's like how it's gone. And that's also what happened during the civil rights movement. And that's still a fight that's being fought as well. But do I think we'll see total equality in our lifetime? No. But we will get closer than we are now. Yeah. And we're not doing this for us. We're doing this for the next generation and the generation after that.
Easier and easier. Yep. What do you think about, because I've noticed this kind of attitude, I think, towards the younger activists is, you didn't have to go through what I went through. It's kind of like a gatekeeping of activism. Like, what would you say to young activists today?
Well, I think it's like good you didn't have to go through what we went through. Like, it was hard to come out in school when no one knew what trans was, when you had to like fight to use the bathroom, and those struggles are still happening now in a lot of red states and even some blue states as well. But I think like the easier we can make it, the better. That's not something for elders to be mad about, that people didn't have to struggle as long. Like, when I got top surgery, insurance did not cover trans related medical care at all whatsoever. No insurance covered it. So all of that I had to pay out of pocket. Now a lot of trans people do have access to having these life-saving surgeries covered, which is incredible. That's something to be happy about. It's not something to be angry or jealous. Like, we are here when we are here for a reason, and it's all part of it. And we do have to just accept that and not be angry that someone like has it a little easier. Like, good, they have it easier. That's what we're working for.
And to let it go, the anger, you know what I mean?
That
Even
anger.
me, I do find, like, I'm somebody who likes to observe my emotions. And some of these, like, younger trans people who are coming out at, 16, 17, getting on blockers or whatever, and, like, they look very cis and whatnot, and I'm just like, but it's like, good, I'm glad, but it's also this thing of like, damn, what is in me that I need to heal that is like, that's spiking up, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And in some states it is easier to get all these things, but in some states it's like impossible right now,
That's true.
Yeah. And so in a lot of places it's way harder than it was for us. Yeah, and that's interesting, right? It's like kind of going in all these different ways. Well, I do want to talk about just your art, because you're also an amazing artist. You're an amazing pianist. First time I heard you play piano, I was like, oh, what? But you also have gone through a lot being an artist. So I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about your artist journey. I think art, being a musician, is something that was just always inside of me. Like, I never thought like, hey, I'm gonna learn how to write a song or something like that, but I just started writing songs when I was 12. I thought that was something that like every kid did in like secrecy in their room after school or whatever. I had no idea that it was like a different, unique thing until I was much, much older. But the songs that I was writing and that I still write now, they were all like just stories of my life or things I've seen or gone through that I needed to express, and music is such like a healthy way to express those things. And yeah, I mean, at first it was hard, like, like in my hometown scene, like I didn't have any problems being trans. Like I was booked on whatever shows, like with artists of like my level and above my level even, and I didn't have any problems in my hometown scene even with changing my name and my artist name and everything. Everyone was super chill about it. But in other places, like there's like venues that I can't play at, or managers that have said like I can't manage a trans artist, like you're really talented but like no. And that's happened to me a lot in this industry. So it is a steeper mountain to climb. And just this year I got signed by Kill Rock Stars, an awesome like punk label that is super LGBTQ positive and affirming, and I can just be myself, and my art can be itself and do whatever it does naturally. There's no like creative control or anything. So yeah, I'm still doing that, mostly like self-producing and stuff.
What advice would you give to like young trans artists who want to make a name for themselves?
Well, one, practice. Practicing is way more important than social media or followers, honestly. Like being actually good, being good enough to like go on stage and sing and be able to like captivate an audience. Like that's way more important, because then you're going to go to these shows and open mics and whatever, and people are going to want to follow you because of that. So that's like way more important than like any of the fake stuff. And honestly, just like create as much as you can and collaborate with people. For a while, I was like super afraid to collaborate with people. I was like burned a few times, but I realized like collaborating is one of the keys to success, and it helps lift you up while you're lifting someone up, or someone's lifting you up while they're lifting you up. You know what I mean?
Lifting each other. It's community.
Yeah, it's community. Yeah. And that's important. That's the thing, is it's not just like one person didn't get to the top all by themselves. Like you need a community, and you need to bring people up with you.
A team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What would you say about cultivating that team? Like, because that is a hard thing to do and a skill in itself, I think.
Yeah. I think finding people who aren't like money hungry is important. That was also another challenge that I faced throughout my career. Like having managers that like they just wanted the money. They didn't care that I wanted to go do a volunteer speech at a high school in the South and not get paid for it. Like they didn't want me to do that type of stuff. They wanted me to do stuff only that I made money. So it is more important to do things for the community and find people that want to serve the community and aren't trying to just always get a check. Like, yes, we do need to be paid and stuff, especially as trans people, but there's a lot of people that they're just doing it for money and for fame, and they're not doing it for the good of others in the community.
Well, and it's great because I interviewed Rob for the podcast earlier, and they kind of had a very similar line about it. It's like, yes, of course, getting paid is very important, but ideally you want to cultivate a space where you're working together to create something. Yeah. And then as you both get paid, it's like very mutual.
Yeah, so you just gotta trust that that's gonna happen.
Really. I'm glad that y'all have found each other.
Yeah, Rob's great. Rob's a great manager.
Yeah, I did want to say, congratulations on getting married.
Oh, thank you.
That's so awesome. Your wedding was beautiful.
Thank you. It was fun.
So was your husband. I love it.
I know.
A trans person finding love. I mean, that's big. I remember coming out, and one of the first things that I was concerned about is, am I going to find somebody who's going to understand me and see me for who I am? Do you want to talk about a little, like, your journey with love?
Yeah, I think I have a complicated relationship journey with love and with self-love and with relationships with others. And I think that's because I didn't value myself enough to let the people in that were all love. I just would like settle for people that were like toxic and things like that. And I actually I had to like read a ton of books about that and do a bunch of therapy. And surely enough, like after I did all the work, I met Steph, and now we got married like last week, and it's just easy. There's no like drama, you know?
Yeah.
And like that's how a relationship should feel. It should feel easy and it should feel like no drama. And yes, like every relationship is work, but that work should be like mutual, you know?
Yeah, mutual. I mean, you know, and I didn't get to tell you this, but at your wedding, but I feel like I've seen you through so many different relationships, and this is the first relationship where I feel like you really are bringing with you a sense of calm and a sense of you're better with this person. Of course, you can still be by yourself and everything, but you're better with this person. Like, this person makes you better. And that's, I mean, you won the love lottery, I feel like.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And not everybody gets to experience that, especially when you have all these, like, ideas in your head about desirability, about what you deserve as a trans person.
Yeah.
So.
And also art, like, I would settle for relationships that would, like, bring out the worst in me, but the best in my songs.
Yeah.
But, and I didn't think it could be, like, the same, you know? So, but now, like, with Steph, it's like, he brings out the best in me, and he brings out the best in my music. And it's like, that actually exists.
I love him.
Yeah, me too. Got a ring for it.
Well, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. There is one question that I like to ask everybody, and that is, what is your trans agenda?
My trans agenda is honestly just to feel safe, really. I would love to be able to travel and feel safe. I would love to be able to use the public bathroom and feel safe. And I would love to be around community and all of us feel safe. I think that's the trans agenda, is to feel safe.
I love that. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Trans individuals face unique challenges every day. From accessing healthcare to navigating legal systems, it is crucial that we work towards creating a society that is inclusive and supportive of people of all gender identities. This means advocating for policies and practices that prioritize the health and well-being of trans individuals, as well as challenging discriminatory attitudes and behaviors where they exist. By coming together to support and uplift trans voices, we can create a brighter and more equitable future for everyone. Thank you for listening, and let us continue to work towards a world where trans individuals can thrive. Follow us on all social media platforms at Trans Clinique, and don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button.